Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Hi, Blue Eye Billy. Hi, Billy. Um, gosh, guys. Does anyone get the feeling that either the courtroom is going to be empty or potentially within this next week, they are really, really trying to get all these defendants pled out? Hi, thanks for a lie. What a day. I agree. What a day. It was. I felt like we was waiting around for this all day. Um, I was at work, so basically I just had my earbud in and I was just listening. And I was like, as the day kind of went to a recess, I was like, well, let me make a rant. And then I was like, let me just go live and rant when I get home instead. I don't know. Because I do it on my phone and I was like, this way, I'll just do it when I get home. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a lot to unpack. It really is. You guys remember in the press conference that Fani Willis did after she indicted this case? She said, RICO is a tool that I like to use to get convictions. I feel like that is playing out before our eyes. So charge number 1 is RICO. You're part of you're part of an organization, or you're an individual who conspired under the guise of an organization to commit a crime. But what they did is they threw that in as the first charge, I feel like. And then they said, we're going to list everything that you've ever been convicted of, or things that we have currently arrested you on. Those are now overt acts in the conspiracy to further this organization. So each individual person has their things that they've done, or the state believes they have done, as far as committing a crime. And then what they said is, because you guys all are in close proximity to or know one another, are affiliated with one another, we're going to call you an organization. We've already called you a gang, but now we're going to say you're organized because some of you got some money. And we're going to call you an organization. So we can call it a RICO. You see how they're getting them to plead out to their individual charges? And they're willing to reduce, WAP, or suspend and dismiss, no prosecute, whatever the terminology you want to use. WAP, no pros, refuse to prosecute. They're all the same thing pretty much. We're going to not do anything about those. We're going to basically drop all those. We just want you to say RICO. Because RICO is the one charge that they haven't been able to prove. Hey, Drea. They've been able to prove that each individuals did their specific crimes. What did Love say? I did this for myself, by myself, because of myself. That's why I did it, Judge. I didn't do it for nobody else. Ain't that what Love argued before the judge? I did this for myself, by myself, because of me. So they weren't proving RICO. They were proving individual crimes, right? And RICO is what they really wanted. So what they've done for these defendants is say, you scream RICO. Since we couldn't prove RICO, you scream RICO. And for that, we'll get rid of all your other stuff. We'll throw that over there on the side. We'll say that doesn't exist. We'll say it doesn't matter if you did it or not. We don't really care. We just want the RICO. We just want Fannie's tool to prosecute to be proven right. Yes, our cat slime members are here. The SLAT team is here. I just find it so amazing that the one charge that they cannot prove with what they were doing is the only charge that they're requiring these people to plead to. That is mind-blowing to me. The one charge they couldn't prove is the one charge that they're like, I just need you to say that this is what it is. Count one. Just count one. We're gonna get rid of unaliving charges. We're gonna plead down assault charges and robbery charges and pum charges. All those go away. Just say that you found RICO. Was anybody else just amazed at that? Like, I was amazed. All my boo things is in here. Actual lie, Drea. Oh, girls, what's up? I am like, I feel befuddled. I feel hoodwinked. I feel bamboozled. I really do. I feel bamboozled for all the time that I've been watching this, which has been I can say a dedicated like 6 months, 8 months, because it was when Trontavious Stevens was on the stand, a little before him. I really do. Hi, Cat! Y'all have been tricking us. Fulton County's DA's office has been tricking all of us. They really have. They have proven that they do not have to prove their case, that they just have to keep getting caught up. And the one thing that really keeps ticking me off is there has been so many reasons for the mistrial with prejudice to go through. Yet it's been refused over and over and over again. But Quay, the name Quay, not an ex parte meeting, not one, but two ex parte meetings, and then an ex parte within an ex parte with a sworn in witness. That didn't do it. That didn't do it. Not all the Brady violations. That didn't do it. Not Love's blatant lies that she swung back and forth on. That didn't do it. The name Quay, Free Quay, will forever go down as the hashtag that undone one of the longest running trial in the history of the state of Georgia. Free Quay. 2 words. Asiatic, you would think that would go against the law. But when the ones that are prosecuting work under the ones that basically enforce the law, they kind of get to decide what law pertains to them. Vonnie Willis literally didn't show up to a subpoena because she said the DA prosecutors can't be subpoenaed. Basically, what she said is that We don't answer to you. Almost like we don't answer to anyone. Like we can't be prosecuted because we're the prosecutors. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like these gentlemen who are in Rice Street or in Cobb County in jail, already in prison and being pulled over here or on their way to prison. They get to go to home every night and sleep in their beds. So their lies, their BS, to put it bluntly, they feel like it really doesn't have any bearing on whether these people are guilty or not. It's really sad because when we see some of the things that have been done in this trial, when we see Love literally saying in front of the judge out loud, "Judge, that's not hearsay. I'm just asking DDA Sprinkle, what did he use about this image to find what he needed to find to do further research on the case?" Even though she just said that they just said that all of the comments on the side of this post weren't, going to be used. She wasn't trying to get that for the truth of the matter asserted. So it wasn't hearsay because she wasn't using that, even though that's exactly what she was looking for. Rebel Floor, I think I'm pronouncing that right. To answer your question, we're not saying they're innocent or guilty. They're innocent until proven guilty. We as individuals, we are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. That's not the conversation as to whether or not these people are guilty. The conversation is the state has painted a picture. They have told this jury, they swore in the jury almost a year ago in November. And they said, we're going to show you beyond a reasonable doubt how all of these people did all these crimes that we're talking about. How they unalived people, how they stole from people, how they hurt people, how, Jeffrey Williams has funded this, gang, promoted this gang. And they really haven't shown that. What the state has shown is that me as a regular person, not for YSL, not for Jeffrey Williams, not for any of that, that regular people may have committed regular crimes and just had a close proximity, an association with other individuals. They wanted, above anything else, to prove RICO. That all of these people did all of these crimes together in furtherance of this, the YSL as a gang, to further the gang's interests, and they haven't proven that. Right. If none of you have checked out Miss Sylvia's channel, Infamous Sylvia, she did an interview the last 2 nights with Shamal Drink's aunt. Shamal Drinks is one of the unalivings that Shannon Sewell, Quamarvius Nichols, Demekion Garlington, and I can't think of the other person, were all charged with. There's a 4th person, but they were all charged with his unaliving. Quamarvius Nichols didn't have to plead out to that. He didn't have to plead out to gang charges. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to do that. The aunt has been on Miss Infamous Sylvia's channel, and I will encourage you to go watch that stream, because I don't want to do any more stream snatching. Oops, my bad. But the aunt has said, she's spoken out, and she said the way that the DA did this was wrong. They didn't have to do it this way. We didn't want it done this way. We didn't want a RICO charge with this stuff being listed in the charge. What we wanted was the people that was responsible for his unaliving to be charged with his unaliving, and so that we could go to that trial and sit in on that trial and speak on that trial. That's what we wanted. And the state did it this way, and we don't want the wrong people to be in jail for something they didn't do. They're not proving that these people did that. They're just basically throwing a bunch of names in a hat and trying to convict everybody. And this isn't fair. This process isn't fair. Not that, they do or don't, not that they are just like, these people are guilty or these people are not guilty. They're like, this process isn't fair. We want the right people in jail. We don't want it on our conscience that the wrong people went to jail so the DA gets a conviction. That's not what we want. We want true justice for our family members. And nobody is listening to them. Nobody is listening to them. I'm going to speak on this because I know how this feels. I had a family member that was shot. Someone very, very close to me. The story that they ran on the news was not what happened. The things that were talked about with the detectives is not what was kept in the reports. The person that was sought to have done it, it's not the person that should have been sought after. And in the end, they said, oh, well, sorry. Our bad. We family members didn't get any justice at all. That person that literally came like an inch from losing his life didn't get no justice. And it happens a lot that they'll just put it where they can put it. Oh, you got some other charges that you're going to be in jail for 20 years for? Let me throw this thing on top of it. To this day, this happened in 2014. It is 2024. There has been absolutely no updates about that. None. Not what's happened, not where they are, not if they're still looking for people, not if someone's been arrested, not if bullet fragments have been found, not if they matched any DNA, nothing. And it happens so often. Imagine Donovan Thomas's family. They went to that woman and promised her, oh, we're going to get a conviction. They don't even know who did it. They can't even prove who did it. We've already went through all the Donovan Thomas stuff. You tell me if you think we know who did that. No. No. You gave Little Rod a RICO conviction on top of an unaliving conviction that he's already serving a life sentence for and hoping to get an appeal on, or he got his appeal on, and he's going to get to go back before the court. You gave him a charge, right? And the worst part about it, excuse me, the worst part about all of this, he got time served on the daggum RICO charge because they're expecting he's going to be in there for life. He got time served on that. I think Quarmavius Nichols was, or not Quarmavius Nichols, but Marquavius Huey, the other Quay. They got both Quays out the way, y'all. Is that mistrial going to stand? They got both Quays out the way. Both Quays is gone. But Huey had 19 charges in this indictment. 19. He had some of the most charges in this indictment. He had more than Eppinger. 25 years, 5 suspended, 11 years probation, 9 years to do time on, plus credit for time served. I mean, you tell me. When you guys, what did she say? He was facing 3 life sentences with 100 years after that. Now, let's be honest. How you going to live 3 lives? You can't do 3 life sentences. You can only do 1. But you're facing 3 life sentences. He will factual lie. And that's the thing. That is the thing that made the difference. He's like, I'm potentially facing 3 life sentences. So that's just till you die. There's no time stamp on that. Plus 100 years. And it wasn't for any type of unaliving. That was just for like robbery charges and possession of firearm charges. That is a lot of time. And you telling me that I got to do 20, 9 in behind bars, credit for time served, and 11 years probation. And he absolutely has to come home. It's here where I am now. It is 17:53 or 5:53, and we're in a thunderstorm warning with a tornado watch. But I didn't want to just sit around and watch TV. So that's why I was like, I would just go live. Yeah, if you go back and watch Judge Whitaker's, which we can watch it if you want to. She said 3 life sentences plus like 100 years is what he was facing. Dang, 22:53. Factual lie, where are you? You're already almost at 11 o'clock. Where are you at? That's crazy. That's crazy time. Crazy work. Ain't that it? Crazy work. Crazy work. Oh, UK. Oh, I want to visit so bad. My friend's getting ready to go to Spain. I need to go over there. I want to go over there. I really want to travel over there. Drea, you're in the UK too? That's so crazy. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to me. That is crazy. I'm so honored to have you guys in here with me. I really am. That is amazing. My friends in the UK. If I ever get to go over there, I hope to meet you guys in person. That would be so awesome. I don't know. My heart was just pounding. My heart was pounding so bad. I know a lot of what they're waiting on is the problem is all these factual acknowledgments. They can't get nobody to say, 1, YSL is gang. 2, that they did it in furtherance of, at the direction of, because of YSL. Tennessee, what's up? So I think they want somebody to plead to that. And maybe it's Jack and Shannon. They want them to say that. And they're like, yeah, I'm not ready to say that yet. But maybe if they offered them something like time served and, would drop everything else, maybe they would. NJB Nene, ATL, what's up, girl? You have my younger sister's nickname. It's Nene. I don't know. My heart is heavy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was taken aback. Marquavius Huey has a baby that he's never met in person. He's never put his hands on his youngest baby. As a mom, that's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna avoid Fulton County when I. It's crazy because I do want to go. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I want to go to Magic City so bad. I just want to see if it looked like what it looked like in all the videos. Is that weird? But I'm not interested in getting pumed at or end up go on vacation and can't come home on probation because I'm stuck there. Clearly Georgia don't like to let their probationees come home. So it is what it is. I don't know. I just kind of feel a ways. And then there's a possibility he's not going to be able to touch his baby for a while because he's going to prison. I'm not going to lie. Thug did look, his face did not look muted like it did yesterday. Yesterday, Thug looked muted, kind of like he was just taking everything in. Today, he looked a little pissy, for lack of a better word. Annoyed, irritated. Not like angry, but definitely his disposition was like not with it. You know what I mean? It was you know, I understand. I think maybe if Doug got the right deal, he'd be willing to take it too. Could you imagine being a multimillionaire superstar and you have friends that are still out there in the trenches that you got out of, and you keep those connections with those friends, and you still like, you that homeboy that pop up and be like, hey, y'all, what's up? And they get to say, I'm friends with a millionaire. I'm friends with Young Thug. Oh my God, look, he at the spot. He just kicking it out here with us. And that's then got you on a RICO facing murder charges. Could you imagine that? Like, you out here doing your thing in the music world, shaking things up, bringing something new, just, you know, touring the world. And now your association with these people, and I'm not saying that it was loose or whatever. I'm just saying, could you imagine that you still going to the hood and kicking it and not staying in your Beverly Hills mansion all the time has now got you on a RICO? Because your boys call you and like, bro, I know you got it. They only calling because they know you got it. But can you help your boy out because I can't pay my rent this month? Can you help me out because I can't pay my cell phone this month? And you like, yeah, I'll cash app you. And now that's gotten turned into an intrinsic act and a RICO trial? I mean, this is like almost made me want to completely come off of social media. Like, for real. I know, like, years ago when I was out there kicking it and like really in the party scene with like my sisters and cousins and stuff, when we was kicking it every weekend, we would come back and be posting on Facebook, girl, we about to do that again tomorrow. Da, 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 da. Yeah, we tore that mother effer up last night. Could you imagine if all that became intrinsic overt acts in a RICO? Like, where I was saying things to her that only we know, or maybe we don't know, but we knew what we meant by what we were saying, but somebody else interpreting that as she was saying they was out there robbing and stealing. And that's not at all what I said and what I meant by what I said. And someone's basically flipping that. That is crazy. God, that's so crazy. Like, it's so weird because I understand a little bit of the lingo, you know. People that are our generation, we get it. We understand. I mean, that's why they got the younger DAs there, because the younger DAs are telling the older DAs what these things mean, and they're interpreting them their way, but they're still taking it and twisting it. Thug said 24 M's on a dude's head, talking about Lil Uzi Vert getting that stud in his forehead, the one that he ended up, like, someone ripped it out at his concert because he jumped into the crowd and his forehead was all bloody and stuff. And that's what he was talking about. But they said that was him threatening someone's life. They didn't even know what he was talking about, y'all. But when you're in that courtroom, they don't have to know. They have proven they don't have to know. Investigator Viverito has proven through her Darbert that she don't have to know what she's talking about. Because when she did that Darbert hearing, regardless if she knew or not, Glanville was letting her in. He was letting her in. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know. But to me, I just wonder. I wonder if that same Darbert hearing that went that same way, the one we read out today on Cat's Live, if that same Darbert hearing was done with Whitaker on the stand, was she allowed her to be an expert? Like, could she have, or would she been like, nah, we got enough of them. We good. Oh, it just pisses me off. It really does piss me off. You got the same 3 detectives / investigators, whatever the hell you want to call them, training each other, discussing with each other what means what, who did what, how they did it, who they did it with, and for what. And they're all 3 the same experts that y'all decided to bring in here. Excuse me, 4. Underwood, Dennis, 5. Underwood, Dennis, Gaither, Belknap, Viverito. They all feeding off of each other, telling each other the BS. And they're all the experts. With them working in that much close proximity to one another, don't you think you should only allow maybe 2? Why all of them? They're all telling each other what means what and who's doing it and how it's being done. Lord Jesus. Take the wheel. It's like, it makes me so frustrated. It does. I swear to God, it makes me so frustrated. No, Underwood got up on that daggum stage talking about, I got 30 years of training in gangs. I got this amount of training with the police. I've been with the police department for 30 years, retired, and then came back. I worked with the ATF. So on paper, she looked good. Underwood looked real good on paper. But then she got up there with Jay Apt and said, what? I'm not an expert. Y'all said I'm an expert. I ain't an expert. And then she got up there with Shar, and what did she say? Oh, the training that I had was through Viverito. Viverito trained me. Viverito, in her Daubert hearing, said Underwood trained her. So who really training who? They training each other. That ain't no different, y'all, from me being a kitchen beautician. I braid my own hair. I braid my kids' hair. I ain't never went to school and got no actual training to do that. And could I show you how to do it? Absolutely. But do I really know what I'm doing? Like, to the point where, like, if you ask me how to perm your hair, I could potentially show you. Yeah, but do I know about split ends and how to cut them and how to trim hair and what healthy hair is supposed to look like? My own, but I don't even know if that's healthy. I don't know how long it's been since I've been to a beautician. So if I'm passing out my knowledge of what I barely know, and right now I'm saying in this moment, I know what I've seen. I'm not an expert. I admit I'm not an expert, but I'm also not out here saying I'm going to train you on how to do what I do. Because I don't know. I don't know. I ain't got no courses on here up here on how to run a YouTube because I don't know. I'm figuring it out as I go along. They were clearly figuring it out as they went along. Were they detectives? Yes. Was she a probation officer? Yes. Did she hear stuff in the street? Yes. Did her parolee come in probably late or dirty and say, guess what happened, man? This stuff was happening out there in the street. And she hearing what she hearing. And then clearly she had a close enough relationship with some of the detectives to be like, hey, I'm hearing these rumblings in the street. You got any of this going on? Yeah. Expert? No. No. Have some knowledge of? Yeah. Yeah. They don't even truly know what happened to Rayshawn Bennett when he got stabbed in the jail. They don't really know what happened. You see how they keep saying, well, oh, they were trying to get the permission of Jeffrey Williams. How was they supposed to get that? He wasn't even in the same jail as them. How was they going to get that permission? What was they going to do? Do it and then what? Call him over there in Cobb County or send a letter and say, hey, we did this. Are you proud of us? Can you pay for us a lawyer now? The hell? They only want the RICO charge. That's the only charge they've been wanting. I know she'll let Viverito be an expert because she's had her Daubert hearing that she is an expert. But if she would have read the same transcript that we read or been a witness to what she said, maybe she would feel differently. This ain't no different than, and this is months and months ago. Do you guys remember when Bean was on the stand and Love kept arguing that Brian Steele didn't have a factual basis to discuss Bean going to Grady? There was no proof. There would never be any proof. The evidence will never show that Bean went to Grady Hospital. And he's basically just making this all up. He's making it. He's fabricating evidence, Judge. There's no proof. And then before Brian Steele was to do cross, he got up and it kind of ended up turning into a motions day. And Brian Steele got up there with the transcript from the radio traffic where the ambulance took Bean to Grady Hospital. He read it out in court. And the judge, I swear to God, he's messing with everything. He cleaning up his desk. He moving stuff around. He putting it back. Hilton and Love chit-chatting with each other like, he's like, y'all gave it to me in discovery. So first you said there was no way that he could have had a discussion with a lawyer or with a detective at the hospital because he never went there. Now I'm showing you where he went there. And then she's like, and Love, I swear to God, when she get back up, and she changed it. Well, Judge, it's not that he didn't go there, but it was that no detective talked to him. And so then he reads out Quinn's and Bean's interrogation transcript, where some of the first words out of Bean's mouth is, I lied when I talked to them other detectives. And Quinn says, well, what'd you lie about? Not what are you talking about? What other detective did you speak to? When did you talk to these detectives? I'm unaware of that. It was, what'd you lie about? Could it be that he already knew? I'm not saying Quinn is a bad detective, but maybe a little bit of sloppy work. A little bit of sloppy work. We all have bad days. A little bit of sloppy work. And then Love argues to the judge, he should not be allowed to question him on that because we don't have any written documentation that he ever talked to anybody. I know he says it in this interview, but we don't have a statement from him. So since we don't have a statement, those are facts, not in evidence. So he shouldn't be allowed to question that. Her tone changed. She lowered her voice. She started speaking differently. She was a little bit more tact, not as aggressive, not as assertive. And then the judge was going to strike all of the things that Steele has said to Bean. He was going to strike all of that testimony. He was like, because you didn't have a factual basis to ask that because there's no statement and evidence. He was going to strike it. All of it. And Steele was like, you can't strike that. He's the one who said that he talked to the detectives. He said that. And just like, no, you don't have any proof of that. And then Steele said, hold on. I'll play you my interview with him where he brings it up. And they're like, no, Judge, Brian Steele brings that up. Brian Steele does it. It's not our witness. It's Brian Steele that brings that to the witness's attention. And Brian Steele's like, no, it's not. He says it. And so just like, okay, I'll listen. And so he plays it. And he ends up playing it 3 times. I know because I watched this last night. He played it 3 times. And the judge is like, oh, Bean did bring that up. I can't strike none of that testimony. I got to leave it alone. I say that to say, it is clear and evident to me that the state was not sure they were going to be able to prove the RICO charge, which is the charge that they wanted. It's the charge that they wanted for absolutely everybody because everybody kept saying, did I do crimes? Yep. I did them for me. I did them because of me. I did them in furtherance of me. Not for no gang. Not for no YSL. They were struggling to prove RICO, and that was the one charge that they wanted. And that is the one charge that they're making sure that everybody pleads out to. You can plead, if you plead guilty to RICO, we'll drop the gang charge. We'll drop the unalivings. We'll drop down the pum charges. We'll not prosecute those. We'll drop down the armed robbery charges. We just want the RICO. It's the reason why Jeffrey Williams haven't got a plea deal yet, or he hasn't got the best plea deal offer while they're still in negotiations, because they're getting a little fish out the way. They got to get the little fish out the way, because then they can come back and say, well, everybody else pled guilty to RICO. What you gonna do? Everybody else pled to RICO. What you gonna do? You still want to take it to trial? Ain't gonna lie, it's a shitty place to be. Yeah, Felicia. They lost, but they winning. They winning now because they're getting their RICO count. They'll have enough people there. They are right now, I think over half of the people that they indicted on this case have pled out to the RICO charge. That's what they wanted. They wanted the RICO. And once they have all that they want, then they can approach Jeffrey Williams a lot differently. Clearly, the other charges that he has, the pum possession and the drug possession, those could be pled out and dropped. They've been doing it with everybody else. They can drop them. They want him to plead to the RICO. YF and Lucci did. Lucci pled to the RICO. Got 3 years. They told him he could apply for parole after like 3 months or something like that. But then, there's a whole bunch of rumor mills about why he ain't out just yet. Some says because he wouldn't testify in his trial. Others says because, they're trying to wait till after the election is done. She don't want to be releasing him before she secured her election. Enough of Fulton County is kind of ticked off about how this trial has been going, where Fonnie may feel a little bit uneasy about whether or not, when people get scared, they'll do things that they may not normally do. If she realizes that Fulton County, as a county, may be a little scared of her tactics right now and how she's doing the people in that county that she represents, they may be willing to elect someone that maybe doesn't look like them if they think that that person may be better for them. So regardless of what her election looked like last month, last week, it may look real different today. And I think she realizes that. I think we all agree we want Thug to fight for his life. I mean, we all want him free. I mean, we feel like he's probably done the least wrong, but he has to do what's best for him. Is fighting to the end what's going to be best for him when they freezing his assets and trying to keep his money and his land and everything that he works hard for? Or is agreeing to something, no matter how true it is, better than staying in jail and not being able to continue with the career that makes you money? I mean, he can walk out that jail and pay off all of his restitution on his way out. And now it's just a matter of being able to sit on walk parole for the next, 10 years, if that's what they want. Those of you that seen Big T last night, I asked him. He said anything over, honestly, 5 years on parole is there to trap you and end you up back in jail. I don't know if y'all know, but one of the first things people do when they get out of prison is celebrate. They drink, they smoke, all of that. And guess what they usually have to do within 48 hours of getting out? Report to their PO. That's one of the first things they got to do. You think there's never been a world where somebody's got out of jail on like a Thursday, reported to their PO on a Friday, and had a dirty UA because they decided to go celebrate being free and got PV'd? Like, it's possible. He has a certain type of lifestyle and image. With a felony, do you think he'll be able to do 10 years on parole and never partake in any of those things that he partakes in living in California or while in Atlanta? There's countries he won't be able to travel to anymore as a musical artist if he's a felon. Shows he won't be able to book. You know? I mean, right now he's not booking any, of course, but I mean, it just looks different. You know what I'm saying? It just looks different. I mean, you have a DA's office with several different prosecutors, each giving their own opinion about how stuff is going. You got the head. Let's say the head is Fonnie Willis, right? The two under her is a body in Love. So let's just say Love is the left arm and the body is the right. You got Hilton. Let's call Hilton like the legs. You tell me whether or not you think those are honest, law-abiding citizens. You have Fonnie Willis that doesn't feel like she should be taken off of a case, another RICO case, for the election fraud, even though she didn't even try that case in full transparency. You went and got your boyfriend to try this case, which would probably not have been an issue if you were willing to disclose the fact that that was your boyfriend. But instead, what did she say? She said, we broke up. He'll probably tell you July, because that's when the intimacy stopped. But you know, women, we look at that differently. I probably say in August when the hard conversation happened. What? We women will stop talking to somebody and be then cut off the whole situation and ain't thought about it. And whether or not they think we still dating or not is irrelevant to us. We do not care. We will go on about our business. So don't play that card. Because I'm a woman too. When I'm done, I'm done. Whether you know it or care or not, I'm done. So cut the shit. You got Love, who walked in like, I'm going to run this courtroom. And from the very first day of open arguments, which was when she had what was the presentation on the screen that had the stuff about Brian Steele in there. From the very beginning, she didn't come in transparent and honest. From the beginning, she was supposed to share all of her demonstratives for opening statements a week in advance, and she never did it. She never did it. Never did it. and then presented it in open statements and then tried to act like she didn't realize why Brian still was objecting and had emotion. She was like, because you was sneaky. How many mistrial motions have we had in this case? How many have we had while, probably at least half of them while Love was up there and the other half for Hilton? They are equally responsible for the BS in this case. You gonna go up there before Judge Glanville and say that the reason why Thug ordered the hit on Donovan Thomas is because he wanted Rich Homie Quan. And a whole argument, what was that, day 85, I think, or day 89? They can't do everything that they needed to do without Rich Homie Quan, so that's why they wanted him gone. They were at a video shoot and had another TIG artist there. The artist that was there was Jacquees, and he wasn't signed to either label at the time. But they don't say that out loud. They don't say that out loud. They talk about several different times the shooting of the Rich Homie Quan's dad's barbershop and how Thug ordered that, until Woody get on the stand and said, I did it because I wanted to with my homeboy. I don't ask no questions. So now they have to start changing their strategies. Love gets on up to the podium and tells Glanville, yeah, we took Yak Gotti out to have a smoke after he asked for his lawyer. We took him outside to have a smoke. And when he came back in, he wanted to talk to us. So all that should be allowed in, whether legal or not. The day that I spoke about earlier, when they were arguing about the Adrian, or maybe it wasn't that day. I don't think it was that day. But anyways, it was the Max Shart thing. When Max Shart was arguing about the file, the Gaither file, because when they put that file into evidence, and you can't tell me you don't think this was strategic, because I do. All of the PDF drop boxes that they had labeled detective this file and this person's file and that person's file, they deconstructed Detective Gaither's file, and then they scanned all that in to their terabyte of evidence randomly in places and gave it to them. They didn't know what it was or who it belonged to, because it seemed to be part of the Dexter Montgomery case. And Judge Glanville said, and I did a video on this, it's in there. I got to figure out how to link stuff. But Judge Glanville said, if we find that file, they're going to have some problems in front of me. If that file shows up, that may be it for this trial. But since they've admitted they don't have it, they said they don't have it, it's lost, it ain't here, let it go, Max. Let it go. And I be God. Ooh, if that file didn't show up. It showed up. The file showed up. You know what's so crazy? Love and Atkins put the file together on the DA's desk and gave it to the judge to look at. Here it is, Judge. This is how it came to us. Here's the file. You know, the one that we didn't produce while Glanville was still on the stand, because if we did produce it at that point in time, Glanville was probably going to throw the damn case, because that was clearly us hiding evidence. But here it is now. Here you go. Look at it. Can we allow it in? When we had Detective Racy on the stand, even though he was only supposed to testify as a fact witness and not an expert witness, and we questioned him about the, GPS coordinates or whatever you want to call them. And he wasn't really supposed to be testifying to that, even though the DA questioned him about that and then didn't want the defense to question him about that. I don't know how that works. You allow the state to do it, but you sustain an objection to when the defense tries to do it. So, okay. But he says, I could probably do it. So because you so desperate to do what you want to do, you decided after that, you know what? Let me run let me go request some more documents, some more files. And what we'll do is when the next detective comes to testify, I can't remember his name, it was the FBI guy that was coming specifically for that reason. We'll give him those documents and have him talk about it. Let's do that. But when they did it, they never told the defense about it. They just did it. And on a random day, the Judge Whitaker was like, is there anything else that the defense doesn't know? And it was the day that Love was wearing like the red plaid Christmas jacket or something like that. It was either that one or just a straight red one. And the judge was like, is there anything else that the defense is unaware about that is outstanding? Any more Brady? Any more anything? And Love is like, and she's like, you might want to take some time to think about that and go to your team. Because it was like a minute pause. No cap. She's like, you might want to go back to your team and come back to me before lunch, after lunch, and let me know. She never came back to her after lunch and told her. At least they never showed us. But there was. And you know what she said? Oh, yeah, I got some time. We got some time before we get there, before we get to this subject in the trial. So y'all can just review it. Because unlike normal trials, this trial has taken years almost at this point. If this was a Sarah Boone trial, you had 6 days. If you would have came up with that crap on day 6, they would have been looking at you like, what? But because this trial is taking 11 months, y'all like, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Let her be. Let her be. And the defense just has to deal with it. They just gotta figure it out. They just gotta deal with it. They're like, we have never had this type of crap happen to us before. This just ain't normal. This just ain't right. But it keep happening. And they can't change it. Because you're only literally as good as your judge, or, as you can be. They ain't even we are 11 months into this trial, and the defense has not even presented anything. What did Harvey say? I haven't even done my opening statements. He never did. He waived it first because he probably was trying to get his client off of this case and hoping that happened, and it did. But he was just going to do it all at the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't roll my eyes hard enough. I'm sorry. But the defense has not even presented. And we got 3 of the 6 defendants gone and off to jail with a plea deal. They're gone now. So what happens if the jury comes back on Monday and now there's only 3 people in there? Y'all think for 1 second, put a 1 in the chat if you think that this jury don't know that 3 people didn't plead out. Put a 2 in the chat if you like, yeah, they know. So 1 if you think they don't know, and a 2 if you like, yeah, they know. I'll start it off. 2. Here's mine. I know they know. They have to know. You can't live in the state of Georgia and not know. They know. Everybody freaking knows. This is a mess. It's a mess. If you want a conviction, let Thug plead out to a freaking misdemeanor, give him time served, and let him go on about his dadgum business so y'all can end this trial. Fannie can run her DA's office for another freaking 4 years. Everybody can go on about their business. Plans and pins, the jury's in everybody's live. They was probably live hopping like everybody else today. They were in Cats. They were in freaking TLAs. They was watching Infamous Sylvia when she went live. They were everywhere. They have to be. It's rumbling. It's starting to rumble now. Just so you know, I have a thunderstorm warning here and a tornado watch. So I'm starting to hear the rumble. So I'm like, it's about to go down. It's a mess. It is a mess. It's absolutely a mess. I'm excited to see what tomorrow brings. Maybe, just maybe, we get super duper duper lucky. And they do have some decent deals for everybody else. Nobody's have to plead out to no gang stuff. Nobody's had to plead out to no in furtherance of stuff. Everybody's just gotten to say, I did what I did because I did it for me, and that's why it happened. And hopefully the same thing will happen with everybody else. If you want your convictions, just go ahead, plead them out. Get off the whole YSL is a gang and an organization thing and just move on about your business. I knew somebody else. I may have committed a crime with somebody else. So it is what it is. I'll take RICO for that. Because it only has to be like what, 2-3 people to be a RICO charge. So if me, factual lie, pins or plans and pins, if we go to Georgia and do some mess, if we go to the Naked Lady Club and go in there and get to throwing drinks, having too much fun, get some disorderly conducts, we might end up in a RICO because it was more than one of us doing it. So, we can become Georgia felons. Georgia felons. Guys, I don't know. I'm happy, I'm sad, but I'm really pissy. I don't have another word for it. I really am. I'm really, really, really pissy because I'm like, could we have not done this 6 months ago? Could we not have done this 6 months ago? Could we have not done this after the whole Kenneth Copeland thing and just pled some people out and say, you know what? We're going to let these people be able to spend Christmas with their families. Clearly, it's possible. It's possible. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to yell. It's so frustrating. It's so annoying. It's so irritating. And I can't help but get like irritated. And then not only that, but the thought of 3 of them sitting in the courtroom before the jury, like, y'all, we ain't guilty, kind of annoys me a little bit because I'm like, the jury gonna be looking like, for real? For real? What are we supposed to do with this? I mean, I guess if the state opened the door, because the defense don't want to be the one to open the door. And I guess it really don't matter if they do, because ain't nobody got to testify. Like, there's nothing in nobody's thing that says they have to. I'm interested to see Huey stuff. Everybody says they categorically deny, but Huey had some special conditions, I think I heard them say. And I would like to see what those special conditions are. I really do. So I guess let me not bump my gums and be saying they ain't got to say this or that, because I don't really know what Huey has to say. But you would think they all 6 in there working together, all lawyers in there aware of one another. You would hope that they're kind of like, I'm going to do what's best for my client, but I ain't going to completely burn you and yours. But, you never know. The whole point of this was the state to throw everybody against each other instead of making them one big team, was to conquer and divide. And that kind of worked. I mean, yesterday, Huey and Lil Rod wasn't really accepting the plea deal. So clearly today they came back with something else and was like, how about this? And they was like, okay, yeah, that'll work. So I kind of wonder, did they have something in there that was like, nope. Maybe I need to buy a Scream & Go. I need to get one of those soundboards that does the screaming for me. Like I can just hit the button and it'll start screaming for me when I want to yell or say, what the? I know. So I know this isn't okay. And I do curse like a sailor in real life. And my son, I was talking to one of my teenagers, and I said, we were discussing her grade. And I said, what the, you know? And she looked at me. Well, my 3-year-old son comes behind me and he goes, what the? And I was like, no, don't say that. But the way he said it, I kind of chuckled to myself because I was like, this boy, I need something like that. Be like, what the what? I'm so annoyed. I don't want it to end because we're all family. We'll stay family, hopefully, and be lurking in each other's chats and pages, all on Kat's page. But gosh, guys, I really do hope that something really amazing happens tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really do. I'm like, if the jury's gonna be out anyways, don't bring them back to some BS. You know, just let's just be done with it. Move on to your next 6. Let's be done with it and plead them out and just let's be done with it. Let's stop talking about this. Clearly, y'all don't like the negative attention that y'all get because it's not just Fulton County. The entire world is on y'all ass. You know what I'm saying? The entire world is watching this. People across the globe are watching this. So NIM, that is the amazing part of the United States of America. I mean, yes, 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 yes. If you watch Mook Toon's plea deal, they give out random numbers. Random numbers. I mean, Hilton, I think Hilton calls it out. I mean, if you want to watch it, I can bring up the Huey one. I think I have it there. But basically, each charge carries like a minimum and a maximum sentence. So, like, say if you have a charge for armed robbery, because you have a weapon, that charge can carry like 5 to 20. Say you have 3 of those. So you have 3 different charges, all armed robbery, each one 5 to 20. So you can, in most cases, the DA's office ain't going to ask for the 5. They're going to ask for the 20. So 3 times 20, it'd be 60. You got to charge for a weapon, a weapons charge. Now that weapons charge may come with 5 to 10. So now that one weapons charge, now you got 10 years on top of that, right? Well, then you may also have like what is it? Like an assault charge in addition to that. And what they do is kind of look at it in totality with all the other charges. But like say you're looking at you have those 4 charges, the pium pium and the 3 assault charges, and then you have an unaliving charge. That's a life sentence or whatever. I think it depends on your state statutes or whatever, but or like your sentencing guidelines, the state sentencing guidelines or whatever. But different charges carry different sentences. They can stack them and run them concurrent. They can separate them and run them consecutively. So they can say, well, you have to do the 20 years plus the 20 years plus the 20 years. And so that's for a total of 60 years. You may get probation on one of the 20 years, but they deny you on the other ones. They can then say, oh, well, the gun charge is 5 years on top of that. And then, oh, well, that assault charge is 38 years on top of that. It's crazy how the justice system works. You know what I'm saying? There are certain countries where even an unaliving charge you get like 5 years for. Like you can get 5 years for that. There's other countries like ours and even other ones where it's a life sentence. It can be a life sentence. It can be a potential man in the lauder put together those type of charges instead of it could be a man 2. It could be a M2. It's weird. It's different. How many times you've been an offender or you've committed a crime will count against you. It'll never count for you. It's not really for you, but it can count against you. Like your first time doing something versus your 15th time doing something. That's why you heard Whitaker say, if you come before me again, I'm not going to be nice. Because you could have been in there for the rest of your life. So if you can get out in 9 years, total, that's including the time he's been in there now. If you can get out in 9 years total and just have to do 11 years on probation, you should be able to walk that down because you could have had a life sentence. So I don't want to hear, Judge, I drank or I smoked or I did this and you need to forgive me, because you could be in prison for life. So take this as a gift and do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I think she's saying, like, for all the charges that you had, all the years that you faced, you have a better deal than anybody else that I've seen in this trial that's gotten a deal has gotten. Except for maybe Monto with the 20 years of probation or 30 years of probation, because that was some shit. So, yeah. Yeah. Monto, what she say, 35? 15 plus 15 equals 35. And nobody passed. That ain't even pre-algebra. That's like, what is that? First grade math, I think. Grammar school math. You know what I mean? Nobody got that. But if you can see the differences in the lawyers when they get up there now, anytime Hilton says something, they like, hold on, wait, let me clarify. Hold on, wait, let me tell my client. The judge is interjecting. It's not just like, it looks very different from what we watch with Moontook's Plea. It looks very different. Hi, Ms. Vasquez. Welcome to the channel. Yeah. The lawyers are doing it they're making sure that they are on top of it, because we all feel a certain type of way after Moontook's attorney. We do. You didn't read your client's plea deal because you got it that day. You just assumed the DA was going to do what they said they was going to do. No, man. Yeah, Nim, on the surface, it does look bad. It looks bad, but it just depends on how you look at it. For someone who was facing that much time, that for them is like, okay, I can do that. I didn't already walk down 4 years. He didn't been in jail since 2020. Or 2022 maybe. No, I think it was 2020 something. I think she said 2020. But he didn't already walk down almost 4 years. You know what I'm saying? 4 years. So for him, I can do another 5. That's fine. But I get to come home and see my baby. I get to come home and see my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I get to come home and see my son. I may be able to be there for them when they graduate. I just got to get myself together. I got to do something different. This ain't on everybody else. This is on me. That's what he's saying. I did this. It's on me. So I got to do something different. And he did it without saying, truth, liar, and different, I'm blaming you. They want them to say it's Jeffrey Williams' fault and it's YSL's fault that I'm in the trouble that I'm in and I'm doing what I'm doing. And it's not. It's them as individuals. It's their fault. It's their issue. It's their problem. And they have to accept responsibility for that. And that's my little bit of that. Like, don't go blaming other people for why you've made the choices that you've made. And what is wrong with Jeffrey Williams calling old boy and saying, hey, If you did that, bring that back now, or there's going to be a problem. What's wrong with that? I mean, again, Huey had the most, he had some of the most charges out of everybody. So to end up with what he ended up with, he got lucky. Because that could have looked very different. Could have looked very different. He got lucky. The DA wants to end this before it may cause some challenges to their careers. That's what I think. That's my choice. That's what I think. They look bad in every light right now. Not some light, not your light, not my light, like every light. They look bad in every light. In front of every news station, everywhere. They look bad. When you got a victim's family saying that I don't like the way that y'all doing this, that's bad. That's bad. Miss Sylvia said Donovan Thomas's family hadn't been back in the courtroom since all that mess that happened in the court back when Woody was on the stand. It's bad. It's sad. It's angering. Right, wrong, or indifferent, guilty or innocent. Don't take my rights away from me, because our ancestors fought hard for those rights. You know what I'm saying? We fought hard for those rights. This country set up those rights. Granted, we probably should go back and look at some of them and maybe do some adjustments. I mean, that was signed hundreds of years ago. We should probably go do some amendments to some of that again. But yeah. Shannon has a very long rap sheet. Yes. I mean, he's a beast out here in these streets. Kind of like Woody. Birds of a feather flock together. You know, there used to be this saying, it's not what I know, it's what I can prove. For Fulton County, it's not what they can prove. It's kind of seems a lot more with how they can make it sound. You tell me one time you ain't listened to that DA up there questioning somebody and talk to somebody and been like, what? What are you talking about? That don't even make sense in real life. But that's what you think I mean? Huh? No. 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 It's not my job, because I'm not on that jury and I'm not in that courtroom to decide what's right, wrong, or indifferent. But what I can say is the DA's office of Fulton County did a piss poor job of trying this case. They did a piss poor job of putting together evidence and facts to make a seamless case go through. They did a piss poor job of taking their job seriously. And anybody else in the world that I work, in the Americas that I see, would have probably lost their job if they went to work and did what we've seen done in this trial. If I went to work and just blatantly lied to my boss every day, if I went to work and just threw some mess together and said, that's my report, maybe the first time my boss would be like, okay, she having a bad day. Maybe the second time she'd be like, girl, what's going on with you? Maybe the third time she'd be like, you know what? I'm sorry to do this, but I'm gonna have to give you a warning. But for dang sure, by the 50th time I did it, she gonna be like, I would have already been out the door, fired, let go, and on the internet trying to find me a job. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't been there. But finally says the DA's office cannot be prosecuted for what they do wrong. They can't be held accountable for getting it wrong. They can't be held accountable for doing their jobs improperly. That is the equivalent of saying they're above the law. That is not okay. I would agree that it may be a bit harder to drop the charges for Nut, but prove who did the crime with Nut. You ain't even proved it. We still don't know who did that. I don't think it. I didn't listen to. I mean, I didn't went back and rewatched a lot of that. How? 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 And now they talking about the Deckham Great. What is it? The Grand Am Grand Prix. It's Grand something. Now that was in there trailing it, but even though we saw Brian still break that video down, there was never a Grand Am, a Grand Prix, and none of that was actually seen in that footage. But supposedly the car that Thug rented is the car that did it. Even though they don't know who was in the car, don't know who was driving the car, because how they put together the people in the car is through Woody, who then talked to Quindarius Zachary, Moontunk, and Demetrian Garlington. And basically Woody and Quindarius Zachary is the only ones that said a very similar story. So right, the Bonneville. That's what it was, a Bonneville. I thought it was like a Grand Am or something. But yeah, it's a Bonneville. I don't know why I didn't know that car. That was like my first car. It was. I remember when the dude was on the stand, the old looking dude to say he was Nut's best friend. It was a Bonneville. Great. What you say? They slow roll like in Boys in the Hood. They slow roll like boys in the hood. And then Dennis got his gangster degree watching Boys in the Hood. So that is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. There's you know what, Chloe Albert's Revenge, you are absolute. That is training, and that's why I said I'm gonna get my degree in gangster. I'm gonna be able, because I didn't watch that. I didn't watch Menace to Society. Hell, I didn't watch all the Medea shows, the movies too. So you know what I'm saying. And run through a Hardee's, and I got my Thug Thizzle degree. Oh, straight out of Compton, first 48, connoisseur, all 17 seasons. 17 seasons on first 48. Give it to me. I got my degree. I guess I'm like Detective Thugadocious. I don't know. I'm not good at this stuff. But guys, this is crazy. Shatos was actually a really good movie. It was. And Bob Marley's son is pretty dang hot, if you do ask me. For sure. For sure. For sure. Guys, I'm so tired. I got up for work at 5 this morning. I came home and I was like, I'm glad y'all listened to me, because my hubby wasn't feeling it. He was like, I was like, bang, this is what happened. He was like, can I talk to you? Never mind. I'm going live. I'm talking to my peoples. Yeah, I'm not an expert. I never said I was. You said I was. Girl, that's my black girl here. I never said I was. You said I was. You weren't. You aren't. You're a detective. That you are. A gang expert, you are not. You are not, for sure. But guys, it's been so fun. It's been so real. Thank you, Drea. Shout out to Big T. I know. I'm still working on it. We got more subscribers, guys. I really do appreciate it. I thank you for all the love. I really do. I swear to God, it's like having a bunch of friends that I can just come home and chit chat with. And I don't even have to call you up. Well, I do call you up. I go, hooty hoo. And you guys all come into the chat and then we just go ham. So I appreciate that so very much. Her knowledge probably did stop with Big Daddy Kane. She maybe knows a little bit about Biggie and Tupac, but that's probably the end of it. But yeah, we're like almost to 200 subscribers. My goal is 1,000 by December 31st. I may not hit it, but I'm hoping for at least 500. Hopefully I can get there. But you know, I'm always in Cat's chat, so it's nice to be over there for all of my work day, or most of my work day, because my work day starts a couple of hours before she goes live. But it makes my day go faster. I swear. I swear. We get to chat and live it up. Some days I don't. If it's really busy, I don't even have the ability to type. But you know, just seeing my people over there and sometimes I have my phone down so I can't even see it. But I can hear everything that's going on. So that's amazing. So I really do appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you so much for just allowing me to become a part of your lives. I really do appreciate that. You guys are a time. You really are. I mean, I don't have words. I just appreciate all the love so very much. And some people may think that this is small, but I think this is huge. And I'm so humbled by you guys who come in here and just kick it with me and spend time with me. I want to unblur my background, but y'all, this is like my box office. It's got a bunch of boxes and stuff in here, and my big old projector over there in the corner. And my daughter told me that she's like, "Mom, it look messy." I'm like, I don't think it looked messy, but you know, whatever. I was like, I need to clean it up and get some stuff off the way. Those boxes are really my son's toys from Christmas last year that I haven't let him play. I've been giving them little by little. His grandma went ham. So, yeah. But anyways, it's been a pleasure. It's thundering out here still. So I just don't want to also lose connection, but I want to get me a shower before maybe I lose all my lights and everything else and lay it down so I can go to work tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys all. And Chloe let Vera know she'll be everywhere. Chloe said I use all my emails. Thank you, girl. Thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. I really do. I love you guys all. I will see you for sure in Cat's chat tomorrow. I'll be back over there. You guys, I'll see how I can chop and screw this rant up and maybe post something individually. But I'm still getting used to StreamYard and how to do everything. But you know, who knows? I may become better at it. But you guys, until next time, I love you guys. Thank you so very much for spending time with me. You have a good evening.